In this two-part episode, we're headed along the Sea to Sky Highway to beautiful Whistler. In part one, along the way we make stops at the Britannia Mine Museum, Shannon Falls, and Brandywine Falls before finally arriving in Whistler for part two. Let's get the day started back at our condo in Vancouver.
It's early on a Saturday, isn't it?
I was just thinking about saying that, and I was thinking, it's early for you. It's not so early for me. It's just past 8 o'clock. We're off for a day of adventure. We're going to go up to Whistler today and make a few stops along the way. So it's, like I said, it's just past 8. We packed up a bunch of crap into my carry-on, and we're going to go rent a car right now. We're heading over to the car rental place. And yeah, we're really looking forward to this day. We've been looking forward to this for months. We really lucked out with the weather today. Wow, it's amazing out. There's just the odd cloud wisp in the blue sky, nice and sunny. It's not too cold, just a little nippy. And it's really quiet out in Vancouver right now, downtown Vancouver. It's going to be a beautiful day, I think. And we got a bit of a reprieve from the U2 rehearsals last night, which I thought was going to be a good thing for our sleep, but for some reason neither of us slept very well, so we're feeling a little bit rough this morning, but we're going to soldier on because we have a really exciting day today.
Wow, did we score or did we score?
Yeah, we got lucky. We got a brand new car. So we just rented a normal standard car, and when we got here they upgraded us to a premium and gave us a brand new car. They just got it. It's only 20K.
The smell is amazing.
Yeah, new car smell.
Inhale it all in.
Yeah. It is really quiet in Vancouver, eh? It's starting to pick up a bit now, but compared to like yesterday when we were walking back, it's really quiet.
That's because anybody who's sane would still be in bed.
It's almost 9 o'clock.
It's a Saturday. What kind of freak are you? You know what I'm excited about today?
What?
My McNuggets sausage burger.
Oh God, you and your McDonald's.
McDonald's in the morning, nothing beats it.
We're just heading into Stanley Park. We got to drive through Stanley Park to get to North Vancouver to get up to Whistler. And this is basically my only memory of Vancouver when I did come here for business that one time. Like I said before, we stayed at the airport. So we did our meetings and whatnot at the airport for a few days, but we did spend a couple hours here in Stanley Park. We came in just to check it out for a bit. I remember being blown away by it back then. We had gotten onto the bay side of the park, and I just sat there on the bench watching the port, watching a couple big ships come in and watching a cruise ship getting ready to leave. It's just amazing to have this kind of thing right attached to your city. It was beautiful. I'm really looking forward to coming back and exploring it on foot, and maybe going to the aquarium, Danger Bay. There's a reference dating us, if anybody caught that. But yeah, we're soon going to be going over, I think it's the Lion Gate Bridge. Beautiful here, eh?
Yeah. The weather's amazing too.
I like how the low clouds here kind of like obscuring the top of the mountain a bit. Just a quick pit stop here. As well as getting McDonald's, we have to print something. Last night we ordered some tickets for a few attractions. There's this website, I think it's Attractions Vancouver, and you get a discount. So if you book a bunch of different attractions, you get a discount on them. We have to print it though. They don't have like an iPhone app, or you can't scan it through your phone. So we got to figure out how to print this thing because we need one of the coupons for one of today's attractions. So we found this Staples. Unfortunately, it does not open until 9:30. It's just past 9. So McDonald's first, then Staples, and then we'll be on our way.
Michael, I want sausages.
Feeling satisfied?
This does not taste as good as Japan, but I still like it. I'm so sad.
We're done a little pit stop.
Then Nicole's little snack break.
Yeah, Nicole got her McDonald's and we got our thing printed at Staples. That was really easy. Kudos to Staples. That was really cool. Just walk in, the guy gave me an email address, I emailed it. I got an email back in a couple minutes with a code. I went up to the machine, typed in the code, and out came our printout. So that was really good. And you're fed, so you'll be happy for a while.
Nom nom nom.
And now we're just making our way on Highway 99, which is also called the Sea to Sky Highway. And this is going to take us all the way up to Whistler. I think it must go farther beyond Whistler, but we're going to stop at Whistler. And there's a few places along the way we're going to stop, so we're heading to our first destination. We got about a 40-minute drive, and just over my left, out my left window here, I'm getting little glimpses of the bay, and it's full of container ships. It's really cool. We've made it to our first destination on today's outing up to Whistler. We stopped in Britannia. There's a mine museum here that looks really cool. So we stopped at the Britannia Mine Museum, and we're gonna spend a bit of time here exploring it. And I gotta say, BC is incredibly beautiful. Like, I knew it was gonna be beautiful, but it's far exceeded my expectations. We were expecting the drive up to Whistler to be like outstanding and gorgeous and amazing scenery, but it's blowing my mind. It's just way nicer than I was expecting. Way more beautiful. Being here in person, like seeing the mountains, like I'm looking past the camera because the view is incredible. Like just the mountains peeking up, the clouds coming in over the mountains. I will turn the camera around here and give you a view of it. But I was looking for Nicole actually. She had to go to the washroom and now she's disappeared. So we are going to go find out where we buy tickets to this museum and then go take a look and then keep on going north. Now here's the view I was staring at past the camera. And I think Nicole said she was going to be here at the company store. So let's go find her. There you are. I was looking for you.
Really? I said I'm going to be in the store.
You guys can actually head up for the guided tour straight away.
Okay.
So right now we're here. Lower side's all self-guided, but you guys can explore that afterwards. So for the tour, just follow the signs and the dots, go straight through that building and then all the way up the stairs.
Great. Thanks a lot.
Thank you.
So what's up first? We're gonna do the tour, the mine tour, I think.
Yes, we walk up to the train departing section, and I think we're going to get on some kind of wagon trolley of some sort, and we're going to go on the ride of our lives.
The main draw for us to come visit the mine museum was the guided tour you get to take through the old copper mine, which was once the largest in the entire British Empire. You get to ride this little train that takes you through the mine, where you get a glimpse at the conditions the miners would have to deal with as they did their work. And along the way you stop at stations where you get an explanation of the various tools the miners had to use. Here we got to see how the dynamite was stored, as dynamite and water do not mix. And next up we got to see some of the tools that they used to actually extract the ore.
Right? It's gonna be loud. You wanna cover your ears, okay?
Said goodbye to our little train as the mine portion of the tour came to an end, and we continued on foot. we were taken down into the actual mill. That massive gray building that we could see as we wandered around the grounds was really quite impressive on the inside, not what I was expecting to find at all. There was many levels built up along the side of the mountain, and each level was responsible for a different stage of the processing. And as they processed the material, the output from each level was just dumped down onto the next level. They used gravity as a tool to move the material around. And as we came to the end of the tour, we got a really good demonstration of how each step did do the processing till they finally got copper.
Do you remember when the tour guide said that in the beginning they didn't even have handrails, so they would just go up and down these steps?
Yeah.
That's insane.
We can only see up to level 5 from here, and there's 3 more levels that you can get up to.
In the beginning, when she introduced herself and she told us that the tour was going to be 45 minutes, I was like, oh no, that's an eternity. But it went by really fast.
Yeah, I can't believe it's done.
When she said it was done, I was like, what?
Yeah. Yeah, really good tour. So there's a few other exhibits we can go check out on our own before we head off to our next destination.
Have you found any nuggets?
The mill that's here wasn't the original mill. It's a new mill that they had to build because the original mill actually burnt down. It burnt down in 1921 completely. Like, you can actually see some remnants of it on the mountainside here. And they really had to hustle to build this other mill, because what's the point of a mine without a way to process what you're mining? And so they built this other one in a year and a half, and apparently they built it by hand. They didn't have cranes or anything at the time. They just had to get it done as quickly as possible. And they built it in concrete and metal, because the old mill was wood, and they didn't want to have a repeat of the burning down of the mill. Up here on the side of the mountain, you can see some remnants of the old mill, and then right beside the old spot is where they built the new mine. Up there at the top you can see a train track, and that's how they would bring the material from the mine into the top of the mill, and they use gravity, as we were saying, inside the mill to process. Like, they process at each level, and then the processed material will be dumped down to the next level. I'm going to come all the way down here, and then you can barely see the tracks on the ground here of where they would haul off the processed material.
Every year the Britannia Mine area would vote for a copper queen. In 2017 we have a new winner.
That's not funny. Nicole, go stand beside it.
I don't think we can ever complain about their commute to work again. Meet the man car.
It's tight in there. Can't imagine traveling in that for 40 minutes. Is that what it said?
45 minutes and 12
45
men.
minutes? 12 men jammed in there? Ugh.
And they
There's
would have
no windows or anything.
And sometimes you'd have to eat lunch in there as well.
Wow, it's horrible. Let's look inside. We'll try and use this flashlight. That's horrible.
Yeah, it's nice and bright now because of the iPhone, but back in the day you'd have to sit in the dark with 11 other smelly men to work and back.
Yeah.
Ooh.
Out of all the attractions you could have picked in BC, why did you end up picking the Mine Museum?
The Mine Museum had a ride.
Oh, okay.
Easy choice, the
I
clear
see.
winner.
Well, it was a really good choice. I really enjoyed that. Good call.
Yeah, had fun.
Yeah, it was really good. What were your highlights for that?
My highlights obviously was the ride. I liked that they had a lot of machinery that was from like I think the earliest pieces from the 1920s, and she was still operating it, and then there were like other pieces that were in the mine that she was able to show us how it worked. And I like how she showed us, at one point she turned off all the lights, and then she showed us what the mine looked like by candlelight, and then she showed us the like next development in lighting, which was like a cambric system. And
I
then,
forget what they call it. Was there was a name. They used acetylene.
yeah,
right?
it was really cool, but it was like
Very dangerous.
very, very dangerous. And then there was like the battery operated lighting. So
The
that-
battery was massive.
yeah, I can imagine carrying that around all day long.
Yeah, it was a really well put together exhibit. So that there was the ride and the guided tour, and then they ended off and you saw us in the mill. And that was really cool to see inside that mill, because that building from outside doesn't look all that impressive. It's huge, but you wouldn't know what's inside. Inside is even more interesting, I would say.
It was awesome that they turned the mill into a museum in 1974. But they just didn't tear it down. And
Well, she was saying because of the water running out of the mine is basically creating heavy metals. They have to process the water. They have a treatment plant there, and they'll be treating it forever, basically. So, some way or another, that place will be operating like forever, basically, because they can't let that water get down into the bay, which they used to do originally, is just dump everything right into the bay. But luckily, that's cleaned up and things are coming back. So. Really good exhibit.
Oh,
definitely recommend.
yeah, the other part of the museum, you're asking me what I liked about the museum. The other part that I really enjoyed that we also didn't show you was at the end of the exhibit, there were a lot of old photographs of miners and their lifestyle. And there was one section that was talking about Asian workers, and back in the day, all the high-paying jobs that were underground were forbidden for Asian workers. So Asian workers had to get like the cooking jobs, the ironing and laundry type of jobs. But yeah, mining was not for miners. No, mining was
Asians.
not for Asians.
There was definitely for miners. Miners were allowed to mine. So yeah, really, really cool. I'm glad we went. I would definitely recommend checking that out if you can make it out there to the Britannia Mine Museum.
And how much is admission for everybody?
Like $30, I think.
30. It sounds a bit
30 bucks.
steep, but you do get your money's worth
Oh, yeah.
because it was a pretty hefty tour and there's a lot to see.
Yeah.
But now it's time for our next attraction.
Yeah, let's go. It was just a short drive up the Sea to Sky Highway from the mine to our next stop, which is Shannon Falls. So we're in Squamish. That's right, Squamish?
Squamish? Yes.
Squamish. And we're here to see Shannon Falls, which I can sort of see coming through the trees, and it looks like it's going to be pretty damn impressive when we get up to it. So we're just going to take this 10-minute hike up to the base of the falls. Oh, here's a view of it. That's really neat. So you can hike up here to the base, and that's what we're doing right now. So when we get up there, we'll show you from there. We're getting really close to the falls and it's getting really loud. So I thought I'd give you a few factoids before we get there, and I won't be able to film, or at least talk on film. So this is the third largest falls in BC. It has a drop of 335 meters. It's really quite cool looking from afar. I saw on Wikipedia that it's a horsetail type of falls. Apparently there's lots of different types of falls, and it was the main ingredient of the Carling O'Keefe beer. I've never had a Carling O'Keefe beer, and I don't know what water they use now, but it's not this water apparently. And there's the Twilight movies. I know I've heard of the Twilight movies, but apparently this was featured in Breaking Dawn. I think you've seen some of those. Have you seen some of those movies?
How dare you pretend I'm the one that's into the vampire love series movies?
I think you are.
I think I'm not. I think I may have seen that movie, and I think I may have seen this fall, but I'm going to end it right there.
reached our next destination. It was about a 35 minute drive from Shannon Falls, and we are at another falls. We are at Brandywine Falls in Brandywine Provincial Park. And we are here about to go on to the little, it's like a 10-minute hike, I think they said, on the path. And first things first, we gotta go through this covered bridge.
Yesterday we had donut wars. Today we have the falls wars.
It was really great to stop at both falls because they are both slightly different. Shannon Falls, which is huge and quite majestic, you get to watch from the bottom. You look up at that falls and you get to see it from its full glory from its base. This one here, Brandywine Falls, you get to see it from the top. So you're standing on a platform looking down on the falls, and it is also quite impressive looking at it, the canyon that it's carved through the valley here. And if you look at the wall across from where you're standing on the platform, you can see several sort of layers of rock that was created by lava flow. Both really neat, both worth a check.
We hope you enjoyed part 1 of our Whistler episode. Stay tuned for part 2. We're going to go explore the Whistler village and take a hike to find the Lost Lake. If you enjoyed this episode, please give it a thumbs up down below and subscribe to the channel because we have a lot more content on the way. Thanks a lot for watching, and we'll see you in the next episode.